Good morning. I am Krista Westervelt. I'm the Healthy Aging Coordinator here with Partners in Health and Wholeness, and we're really excited to have everyone with us today for our Faith Health Connection on the North Carolina Senior Games. Now we're going to have a presentation and Q&A with reps from the North Carolina Senior Games and from local senior games. And then at the end, we'll talk about ways that your faith communities can partner with us to support the health and wellness journeys of the older adults in your communities. We have with us today Lynn Harrell, who's the Associate Director of the North Carolina Senior Games, as well as Dretta, Kinney, and Ellen, different Senior Games participants and local coordinators. So I am going to stop sharing and pass this over to Lynn.
Thank you so much, Krista. We're so glad to be here today. I also want to recognize Lauren Presley from our North Carolina Senior Games staff. She's providing all the technical support which I need today to do the presentation for you and to support the other presenters from our organization. And I need a lot of technical support. So thank you so much, Lauren, for being here. I got involved with North Carolina Senior Games as an obligatory volunteer when I was in college. It was one of those situations where the professor said, you will do this or you will not get a good grade for this exercise. And so I was a good student, so I did it. I wasn't happy about it because I was busy and I worked full time and just lots going on. Anyway, here I am now. Many years since I graduated from college, and that experience really shaped my career. I changed my entire career trajectory from working with children to working with seniors, which I have my whole career to this point. And I'm now the Associate Director of North Carolina Senior Games and very proud to be involved. And now I am also a participant. So that's my latest and most important role with North Carolina Senior Games is as a participant. What I'm going to do is give you a little bit of background and overview about what is Senior Games, what are the aspects of it that are involved, and then we're going to hear from these three experts who are a local coordinator and participants who have interacted with the program in different ways than I have, and for longer periods of time as participants than I have. And so you'll get lots of different perspectives, if you will, on North Carolina Senior Games instead of just my one perspective. I will also say that the intergenerational aspect of Senior Games, which is not something that we're going to focus on, obviously changed my life. And my daughter is 19 and she has grown up knowing that when one grows up, when one has silver top, one can still be very healthy and active and vibrant in life. And that's different than how seniors are portrayed in the media still. And in movies and in TV shows, in our culture, we just don't celebrate healthy aging as much as we do in North Carolina Senior Games. So what I'm going to do to get started is share my screen and take you to the North Carolina Senior Games website. And this is actually managed by Lauren. And thank you so much for all the tech that you do, Lauren. She's actually not our IT coordinator. She's our PR coordinator at North Carolina Senior Games. On our homepage, we have several helpful links, one of which we're going to dive into just a little bit, our organizational brochure, which we call the info flyer. And you'll see right here on the cover page, our mission statement. North Carolina Senior Games is health promotion and wellness, which fits so nicely with your mission with Faith and Health Initiative as part of the North Carolina Council of Churches. And that's why we're so excited to be here to talk to you, because we feel like it's a really good marriage of your mission and our mission. Year-round health promotion and wellness, which we serve through 53 local games. All around the state. We serve all 100 counties in North Carolina through those 53 local games. And I want to just pause a moment with this graphic that you see here on this cover page fun, fitness, family, friends, fellowship. I would also add food, even though that's not in writing, as that's another similarity that we have with you. Often churches have their socialization around food, and at senior games activities, often there's food involved because, of course, if you have food, they will come. That is true for all of us of any age, college students, those of us who are in the middle, and those of us who are senior games participants. We all like gathering around food in our culture. So these we lovingly call the senior games F words. So that gives you a new perspective on what F words might be. And they are the reason that people say they participate in senior games. And we've done research on North Carolina Senior Games participants since the early 90s. And every single year, they tell us over and over and over again, the best way to get involved is to hear it from another person. So word of mouth is the #1 way that someone learns about senior games and gets involved. And the second thing that they have consistently said over and over and over again is these F words are the reason that they participate in senior games. And I think you'll hear from the testimonials today that that is still the case. All these years later, since we were founded in 1983, still those are very, very, very important to participants, even though competition is also motivating and competition is also important. It is these F words that keep people coming back again and again and again. We do have 2 parts to the Senior Games program. Sports is one of the tools that we use to accomplish that mission of health promotion and wellness. And the other tool that we use is the arts. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about those and about how our organization is a progression from those local games that I mentioned all around the state. And we've got participants from local games here today. Then qualifiers have the opportunity to participate in the fall of each year at a state championship, which we call state finals. And then every 2 years, qualifiers from state finals have the opportunity to go to National Senior Games. And National Senior Games is happening this summer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The softball tournament will be in May in Columbus, Ohio for the National Senior Games. And we do have a large contingent usually that attends National Senior Games from North Carolina. The last nationals, we had over 600 participants from North Carolina represent us in the National Senior Games. We're going to talk a little bit in more detail about the Silver Arts. And then on the last page of this document is an opportunity to find local games in your local area. And so on our website, I'm going to take us to the Find Your Local Games page, which these menus across the top here is how I got here. Under local games, which again is those 53 serving all 100 counties, we're now on this second link, Find Local Games. And so this first link gives a list of names of local games, where they're located, what their dates are. Local games happen in the spring of each year between February 15th and June the 1st. And then state finals registration happens until August the 1st, and the games begin this year at the end of August. August 31st is our first activity, and we think we'll conclude in late October with our 3-on-3 basketball tournament. So it's about 2 months of competition. Last year, we had 25 days of competition, 1 large long week, and then tournaments throughout the month of October. But it all starts right here with local games in your neighborhood. So if I don't know what the name of my local game is, because you see some of these are fun, interesting names like Four Seasons Senior Games, that's a little different and not quite as descriptive about location or where my local games might be, like Gaston County Senior Games. That's obvious, it would be in Gaston County. So we have another tool on this Find Local Games page, which is this interactive map. And on the interactive map, a person can simply scroll over the counties. And since we do serve all 100 counties, every single county is linked to a local game or several local games that serves that area. And so I'm going to click on Randolph County because it actually is served by 3 different local games. And you see those listed here. And depending on where I live in Randolph County, or perhaps the dates of those local games, I could choose to participate in some or all of those local games. And then I'm going to just choose Randolph County Senior Games as a sample for you to see that every local games has a page like this one that Randolph County has that shows the dates, the registration deadlines, how to register, a website, a Facebook page if they have it, and then specifics about who to contact and what is offered. So that if I want to do swimming, I can see that, yes, I can register for Randolph County Senior Games and compete in the swimming events. So this local games information, this Find Local Games, is the best way for you to get your congregations involved, or for you personally to become involved in a local senior games, either as a participant, if you're privileged to be 50 years of age or better, or as a volunteer, or if you haven't quite reached 50 years of age yet. And also on this page, this Find Your Local Games page is links to all of those individual local games pages. The last thing I wanted to do is to show you a little bit about our Silver Arts program. I know in the church that I grew up in, there were craft circles. My grandmother participated in quilting circles that were part of her church. And so arts and crafts, and also fine arts and writing, is part of Senior Games. The Silver Arts component of Senior Games, of course, is similar to that mission of using sports, in that we get more healthy when we are painting, when we are dancing, when we are doing clay, doing sculpture, doing woodworking. That's helping our bodies and our minds and our spirits be fed in a different way, but also accomplishing that mission of wellness for the whole body, for the whole person. And so on this page, on this Silver Arts page, we show some samples from our virtual Silver Arts, which we did have Senior Games during the pandemic safely. People participated in their homes, in their neighborhoods, by themselves, turned in their scores or sent photographs of their pieces, and we compared those scores and pieces and had judged the pictures, so that even through the virtual Senior Games continued. Because what we know is that connection, that fellowship that Senior Games provides is actually contributing to people's physical health. And during the pandemic, we all suffered, didn't we? We all suffered missing our friends, missing our family, and that interaction. And so offering that opportunity to connect at award ceremonies and through competition and connecting with staff that helped folks compete, that made all the difference. And we are the only Senior Games in the country that continued through the pandemic, because we had a wonderful committee of volunteers who helped us figure out how to do that. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of samples of Silver Arts, because the participants that we have today are not going to focus on these. And so I'm going to conclude my part of the talk with a few samples of Silver Arts, and then we're going to take a trip to the games, if you will, and watch a short video before we hear from our next speaker. So in our virtual showcase, you see that we have heritage, visual, and literary arts. And just to give you a sample, these are the heritage arts categories that we offer at most local games and at state finals. And some sample art from this virtual year. This is the wood carving category. And you see there's lots of variety, both in terms of what is presented and in terms of quality. One of my favorite things about Senior Games is that a person can participate with a bicycle and cycling, for instance. We've got participants whose bicycles are worth more than my vehicle. And then we've got folks that participate with more like a beach cruiser bicycle that has a bell and a basket for their puppy dog. And beautifully, all of those folks are welcome in Senior Games. And so anybody who is 50 years of age and better and who's a resident of North Carolina is eligible to participate in Senior Games. And you can see that with some of this artwork. Our crocheting category is displayed here. Again, lots of variety. And then visual arts categories, I wanted you to see here. These are the different categories, and then just the acrylics category here. These are posted on our website, which is ncseniorgames.org. So you're welcome to go and look at those in your leisure after the workshop today. We also have the literary pieces posted, which you're welcome to read at any time. We have poetry, essay, life experience, and short story are all the categories for literary arts. So now with that overview, I want to take a trip to the games, which will summarize some of the things that I have said. Lauren's going to play a video for us that takes us on a trip to the games, about 2.5 minutes, and then we'll hear from our next speaker.
The North Carolina Senior Games began with a vision to create a year-round health promotion and education program for North Carolinians 50 years of age and better. Senior Games fosters a holistic approach to the body, the mind, and spirit with 29 sports and 33 silver arts activities. Enjoy fun, fitness, friends, family, and fellowship with North Carolina Senior Games. Activities include track and field events, cycling, pickleball, swimming, team sports, heritage, literary, visual, performing arts, and cheerleading. Senior Games is a great way to stay healthy and meet new friends. For more information, call 919-851-5456 or visit our website at www.ncseniorgames.org. We look forward to seeing you at the games.
Thanks, Lauren. So that's a snapshot of what it looks like to be involved in Senior Games. You saw some volunteers, you saw some participants. Thanks so much for taking us on that trip, Lauren. Our first speaker today is Ellen Fenters. Ellen is a local coordinator for Gaston County Senior Games, and she has been involved in the Senior Games program in Gaston County as a coordinator or as a co-coordinator since 2010. This year, the Gaston County Senior Games reached 401 participants, which is an amazing accomplishment. Ellen is the co-chair of the Local Coordinators Association and has been that for the last 5 years. She's the newest member of the North Carolina Senior Games Board of Directors and a financial contributor. In 2020, when she was finally old enough to become a participant, of course, we couldn't have in-person games safely. And so we're going to start Ellen's talk with a short video that she made talking about wanting to be a participant in 2020. And then we'll hear from Ellen.
Hello, my name is Ellen. For the last 8 months, I have trained with my family, trained by myself, and even while on vacation. Nothing could keep me from missing a year of senior games, especially not my first year. Join me as we participate in the virtual state finals. Now is our time to support something we love so much. We are locked down but not out.
Ellen, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. So yes, something can stop from doing senior games, just nothing that we saw coming. So waited years to be able to participate in senior games. And the first year it was canceled. I thought that was the end of the world, but made it through. We did some virtual stuff and had a blast. But my story is quite like Lynn's. I didn't realize how much my career path actually changed because of senior games. I went to school to be a phys ed teacher, and one of our classes, we worked with senior games, and I knew right then that this was something that I had to be a part of. So went into recreation instead of physical education and got into athletics in the beginning, and then started working with seniors and knew that's where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. But the similarities of the church and senior games is unbelievable if you really think about it and look at it. My husband is actually a worship pastor for one of our local churches, and we couldn't hold senior games without the help of all of our churches around. They provide us with facilities, they provide us with equipment, he makes videos for us, and we've had other churches volunteer those services as well, not just my husband. He kind of gets voluntold, but participants, we go to senior groups and talk to all the senior groups of what we do, how they can get involved. Most of your churches have wellness programs, but they get to a point where, okay, we've got these classes, but what do we do from here? So when we introduce senior games with it, it's a year-round health promotion program that allows you to work towards something. So they've kind of got an outlook of where to go from there. One of our most loyal participants, he has since passed away, but it was Reverend Wilford Powell. I heard him pray at one of our luncheons here with the county, and I knew when I heard him pray that we needed him to be in senior games with his enthusiasm. And so I sat down, I talked to him, told him all about it, and he was on board from the very beginning until the day he passed away. I was actually invited to his funeral to talk about senior games above anything else. That's what he wanted. He displayed his medals, had family, talk nothing about anything except for senior games. So people, their lives are actually changed for the benefit because of what we do. Volunteers, we get a lot of volunteers from our local churches. We go into youth groups and we provide a sensitivity training program with the youth before they interact with the seniors. And the program's called Walk in My Shoes. And it's a day of what seniors go through, of what they have to deal with, even when they go to the grocery store. It kind of gives you an outlook of patience when you're dealing with somebody that may be struggling trying to get their money out. We tape their fingers, we put gloves on them. We tell them, okay, they need to check out at a grocery store, give them a cane. It's hard to do. And I don't think they realize it until you actually put them in that position. But as far as what Senior Games provides to local churches, I hope we kind of counteract to be able to provide them with something as much as they provide us. I think when I said in the beginning that we kind of mirror each other, people go to church and Senior Games, they need acceptance. They're looking for a firm setting. They're looking for opportunities to serve, loneliness, encouragement, and those go hand in hand with Senior Games and with our churches. So we need to offer them an opportunity to take part in something like that as often as we possibly can. You've heard the saying, no one should die before his life is over. And that really sets you to it. As we age, we kind of maybe lose a little bit of our physical fitness part or our drive in some areas, but the knowledge that is gained through wisdom and peace of mind and stuff like that is something that our participants can teach anybody in the church systems. But also Senior Games provides, of course, increased physical health. It does help with the isolation. We see people come that have lost a spouse, lost all their friends, and they're looking for a sense of belonging. And Senior Games provides that to anybody that takes part. It lets them let loose and have some fun. I mean, it brings the kid back into you. And then you start to see that little bit of competitive nature, and they begin competing just for fun, but then it starts to get a little more competitive each year and begins to get a little ugly when they get beat. So always there as part of the competitive part. And then the biggest part of Senior Games for me and for a lot of our church members is the mission field that it brings to them. It's a whole new mission field of who you're around and who you approach. It's not your everyday people that are in your church, but it brings you out to allow you to share your experiences to so many. So we are excited. This is something that we really push our ambassadors to go speak to area churches, to tell them what Senior Games is all about, and just to try to get them to get their foot in the door, because once you step in, you'll be hooked and enjoy every piece of Senior Games. There's something for everybody. And the first thing you're going to hear is, I'm too old. Well, guess what? Everybody that participates is too old. So we've got that in common too. But there's not enough that I could say. I could talk days about the benefits of Senior Games. It's an opportunity that I hate people under the age of 50 don't have. You kind of get that 40 to 50 age range where there's nothing really for you to do as far as competition. And then when you hit 50, you take off again. We actually have a softball team that, when you retire after playing softball for 40 years, that's the worst thing possible. And Senior Games that got us back on the field with people that you played ball with your entire life. And it's a whole sense of belonging again to what you grew up with. So something that we would love to partner with you guys with, and again, can't say enough about it.
Thanks so much, Ellen. Ellen's passion really comes through. She talked a lot about the nice parts of Senior Games, but she got in there that little bit of competition, and she's a fierce competitor, as is one of our other speakers. And as you heard, also really believes in the mission of Senior Games and sees that marriage of her passion for seniors and also of Senior Games and through recreation and through her church. Thanks so much for that, Ellen. Our next speaker is Dretta Guyon. Dretta got involved in North Carolina Senior Games in about 2000 when she retired. She tried a bunch of different activities at first. She tried bowling, and she said they were way too professional. in the bowling weeks for her. She said she described herself as more of a Sunday afternoon bowler. She tried basketball, she did the walks, she did a dramatic reading, she tried dancing. And then the Durham Divas and Dude cheerleader group was established in 2004. And that's where Dretta has really found a home in senior games. And so that is where she has focused her attention, focused her efforts. She is a trained North Carolina Senior Games ambassador. The Durham Divas and Dudes now have 4 divas that are 80 plus. And Dretta will share with you, she is one of those. And she'll be talking with you about their many long held years gold medal at the state championship level. And we're gonna start Dretta's talk. Lauren's gonna share a screen that shows the web page for the Durham Divas and Dudes, so you can see a little bit about them. And then Dretta's gonna talk with you about her personal experience. You see their beautiful pom-poms and uniforms. They are sponsored by their local YMCA and just have an incredible healthy movement activity that's so fun and exciting. And again, fierce competitors, as you saw at the top of their screen. They were the gold medal recipients for many years. So Dretta, we so appreciate you being here today, and take it away.
Thank you very much. And good morning, everybody from the Divas and from Durham. I am Dretta Guyon, and I've been actually a native of North Carolina since 1963. I'm a transplant like many others, but now I call North Carolina home after all these years. When I retired from education in 2000, I was already a member of the Y, and I wanted to have more activity. I had time now, I could do things. So one of the things that I did at the Y was to check the bulletin board often to see what new things were up. And one day I saw a paper saying, if you're interested in being a cheerleader, sign your name and we'll contact you. Well, this was Louise Gooch. And if any of you ever have met Dr. Gooch, you know, when she puts something up and you sign up, that's it, you are in. Well, I signed up because I had been a cheerleader way back in the 50s when the skirts were long below your knees and you wore sweater vests, and so I said, oh, well, maybe I can do this. As Lynn has already mentioned, some of the other things I tried and found that they were a little bit much for me. So I signed up. I was one of the first 8 people to become divas. And since that time, I have enjoyed being a Durham diva and an ambassador. And Lynn has mentioned all of the reasons that we as seniors, and I will be 82 in July, so I'm one of the 80s. But that to have the not only the physical aspect of it, which we need, because we found that 2 years off really did a lot to our bodies. When we came back, we were so out of shape, and it's taken us a little bit, but we're back. We are back. We're participating in our local games 2 weeks from now, actually, and we are hoping that we can make it to the state. I know we're going to make it to the state. And one of the things that kept me focused all of these years, because it'll be 20 years next year. In 2024, I will have been a diva for 20 years. And that kind of blows my mind too. And my family, of course, they just think it's, what? Oh, look at Granny go. They love it. They love it. One of the things that I've had throughout the 20 years, a lot of orthopedic work. I'm a bionic woman at this point. Back surgery, shoulder surgery, both knees replaced, hip surgery for the last two, that's been my biggest challenge for the last 2 years. But every time at each surgery, your surgeon will ask you, well, what are your goals? My goals are always to be able to be active with my grandkids and to go back to cheerleading. Every single time, those were my goals. And it made me realize how important this senior games was to me. And this makes it easy for me to be an ambassador because I share my story. One time I performed with a back brace on. You know, Louise said, well, if you get your doctor to approve it, you can get on up there with your brace and you can perform. And of course I did. You know, she's an inspiration to us. And so we keep going. But I have found that my time as a senior game ambassador has given me the opportunity to share a lot of information and a lot of personal stories that people are affected by. You know, when they see you and they know your age and they know your circumstances, they see you walking with a cane one day or a walker one day, and then the next day you're in your cheerleader uniform and out there cheering. They wonder, well, she's doing something right. So I might want to check that out. So that's sort of been what's keeping me going, keeping me strong. And I have found that putting priorities in my life, of course, I put God and
Oh,
big
no.
part of
there she
my
is.
life. And
Dretta, say that again. You froze.
what's that?
You froze. Say that again. You said about priorities.
Oh, my priorities. Yeah, my priorities have always been to put God first, family second, and then everything else. But my everything else starts with the Durham Divas and the state games, you know, and so that's sort of where I am now in my life. Had a really big disappointment and tragedy this year with my youngest daughter dying of cancer. And that really knocked me for a loop. But when Louise called and said, we're getting back, are you ready? It took a little while for me because this is still recent. She died in July. And I said, well, Lou, I just don't know. I have this hip that I'm trying to heal and I'm trying to heal my heart. She said, well, you can always come and just use your arms. Just use your arms. If you can't use your legs, use your arms. Come and be. So this has been good for me for many different reasons. Not only physical, but also emotional and psychological. It's been my therapy. And I just thank the state games for being there, for being an option, because I know there are so many people in so many states that don't have that option, you know, of something that they can look forward to so eagerly. And that's my story.
Thank you so much, Dretta.
You are more than
Thank
welcome.
you so much. You really did a great job showing us the Senior Games F words and how they make such a difference in your life. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Our last participant that we're going to have share with you today is Kenny Bauman. Kenny lives in Boone, North Carolina, and is part of the High Country Senior Games. He participates in basketball 3-on-3 and is a national champion with the Wazee team from 2017 with a gold medal that year in the National Senior Games and a silver medal in 2019 and in 2022. Kenny is an ambassador. He is a member of the North Carolina Senior Games Board of Directors and also contributes financially to Senior Games. So Kenny, thanks so much for being with us today. Look forward to hearing from you. And wow, look at that backdrop. Holy moly.
Thank you, Lynn. Hey, everybody. It's good to be here. I love the senior games from the first time I found out about them and started participating. I'm an old athlete. I've been an athlete all my life. I got a scholarship to play basketball up here at Appalachian, which got me out of my little one stoplight town in rural South Carolina. So if it weren't for sports, I'd probably still be pumping gas at my daddy's gas station down in Wagner. And then from there, I had the chance to go to Europe and play 1 year of pro basketball in Europe, the best year of my life. And then came back and a lot of these medals back here. I ran 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons until I became of age and started participating in the senior games. And oh my God, what a great organization. One of the things that attracted me in the beginning was that it gave a structure. I really wanted to compete on the national level, and the games gave me that. I didn't know any other way of getting there. So you participate at the local games, you do well there, and then you get to go to state. And if you do well there, then that gives you a ticket to go to the national tournament in whatever sport you chose. And so I've been 3 times in basketball, and I didn't. It's kind of funny. I always knew that basketball and sports was a big part of my life. I didn't really realize it until I got into the senior games and started experiencing and recovering some of these feelings that I had back when I was in college and high school. Being on a team again. I mean, if you've ever played team sports, those relationships that you have with your teammates, those are unique in life, and there's no other place you're going to go and get those, and to have those again come back. I mean, it was really uplifting. And so, yeah, I'm a competitor. I'm a mean competitor, and that was part of a big reason that I joined the games. Competing is a motivator. It gets that this is a big thing that the games bring to me. It gives me a goal to shoot for. So I know if I got a tournament coming up or I got a race coming up, then I'm gonna drag myself off the couch and get outside. Which I probably, inertia is a big thing, and it works both ways. And getting that first step going is sometimes the most difficult one. But I want to say the first time I went to the state finals down in Greenville in the basketball tournament, oh my goodness! I mean, the feeling was electric. Walked in those doors, and there are whistles blowing and sneakers squeaking and people everywhere. And it was like, wow. I mean, this was just like the tournament days back when I was in college. And then lo and behold, when I go in there, it's the women playing. It's not even the men playing. And so talk about inspiration, which is another thing that brings me to the senior games. You've never been inspired until you see grandmama and great grandmama scrambling on the floor after a basketball. So, I used to be impressed with people who could do a 360-degree behind the back dunk on a basketball goal. But when I see great grandma get that look in her eye, I'm going to the goal, and y'all best just get out of my way because I'm going to make this layup. That's a whole nother level of inspiration. So, I mean, you really have to see this to believe it. I've met just so many awe-inspiring people. So I came for the competition, but I keep coming back for the fellowship and the friendships that I've made. And in every game you play, a lot of times these are 3, 4, 5 guys you've never met before, never seen before. But after the game's over with, win or lose, you're going to talk to each other, you're going to shake each other's hand, find out what they've been doing all their life, and you make 3 or 4 new friends. And so now when I go to the state finals, I spend just as much time talking to everybody as I do playing against them. And my buddies on my team, they'll tell you they can't get me out of the gym. They have to grab me by the back of the neck, by the scruff of the neck, and drag me out of the gym because I'm still want to have. I need to go say goodbye to this guy. I need to go say bye to this lady. So I can't recommend strongly enough what a great organization this is. And if you have the least inkling of getting involved, get in, give it a try. And the next thing you know, you'll be as addicted to it as all of us here are. So yeah, hope y'all can go back to your churches and it just takes a little bug in the ear. I found out about the senior games. I was sitting in a business meeting and a local representative from the North Carolina Department of Commerce happened to be sitting behind him, and he had just come in from doing the run walk. And, he had that aura of recent competition just exuding from him. And I said, well, man, I was in my 40s. I said, well, that sounds good. I'll look into that when I get older. And which wasn't too much longer. So love the senior games and we need more people. So please bring them aboard. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. We've seen some really great examples of participants today. Thank you, Ellen, for your local coordinator perspective, for Dretta, and for Kenny. We're going to close this portion of our presentation with a very brief video on the spirit of senior games. This is a poem that was written by the first president of the North Carolina Senior Games Board of Directors back in 1985. Her name is Alice Keene, and this is a video using that poem, The Spirit of Senior Games. And I think you'll recognize a lot of the components that you've heard from today in this poem. Lauren?
I am pride in one's community
and its representation throughout the state.
I am a smile or a hug
from a newfound friend.
I'm the desire that inspires all who are involved
to give their very best.
I am thankfulness for the gifts
of health and wellness that are mine.
I am love and support that touches
people of all ages.
I am the knowledge that every individual
is one of God's special creations.
I am the thread that unites each of us into one.
For this night and all the years to come,
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
We are the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit. I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
We are the spirit of Senior Games.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's always such a treat to have y'all with us, and it was nice to see Dr. Gooch in that video. She was with us last time, and it's just such a treat. Dretta, Lynn, Kenny, Ellen, and Lauren for helping get this set up today. The back and forth, we so deeply appreciate it. And Dretta, so sorry for your loss. We'll be holding you in our heart. Before we go to the next part, if anyone has any questions for our senior games folks, feel free to unmute and ask. You're also welcome to put them in the chat if you'd like. We can put their website in the chat as well. Okay, I guess someone has any questions. If you have any questions later, we'll pass those along. So one thing to note, as was mentioned here, your faith community can partner with us for a health and wellness journey for older adults in communities and also with Senior Games. And so we hope that you will take a look at their website and get more information. We'll also send that out to participants. If you're interested in figuring out how to help fund your faith community's journey of fitness and wellness for your older adults, our mini grant application periods are shown here. The next one ends in a few days, but they are ongoing throughout the year. And you can find that information on our website, and I'll put that in the chat here in a moment. And also want to bring your attention to PHW's Healthy Aging Inclusion Plan, which a lot of the information that we covered today in this would go along with that plan. And I'm going to stop sharing and then kind of show you what that is on our website. In a sec, hold on. So I'll put this in the chat, the link. But earlier this year, we unveiled our Healthy Aging Inclusion Plan, which will help guide faith communities and how they can make their faith community more inclusive of older adults and their active aging, healthy aging process. A number of the opportunities that Senior Games offers fall within what is covered on this inclusion plan, including opportunities for play and laughter, cognitive opportunities, arts, crafts, skills, or skits, theater, writing, music, all that happens with Silver Arts, for instance. And of course, opportunities for physical activity that happens with Senior Games. So definitely want to consider that. And then also the professional vocational standpoint, volunteer opportunities for older adults to help them become engaged within the community. So, and social engagement as well. So I encourage you to take a look at our inclusion plan and see how that might fit and how Senior Games might fit within you, moving into becoming a more inclusive community for the older adults within your faith community or your congregation. And I will put some links in the chat. This is a link for our collaborative pledge that also has links for our mini grants for churches. And this is a link for our inclusion plans, which also include the Healthy Aging Inclusion Plan and our Mental Health Inclusion Plan. And we encourage you, if you have questions about either one of those opportunities and programs and how you can get those going within your faith community, please do reach out. You can email me at krista@ncchurches.org. And you can also find me on the website. And I think, because we're getting close to time, I think that's close to covering it. If anyone else has any further questions for folks, also put our contact information up again. These are your contacts. Me for the aging, and you reach out to Stephanie around the collaborative pledge and mini grant process. You can find our website, healthandwholeness.org. You can follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as on Twitter. I see something in the chat. Yes. If you want to contact Senior Games, NCSG at North Carolina, ncseniorgames.org or at their website. So definitely encourage you to reach out to them. And again, we will send out this recording to everyone who registered. I know not everyone was able to make it, but they did register. We'll have this available on our YouTube and in the Healthy Aging newsletter that goes out as well soon. So again, I want to thank you so much for being here. And as is the tradition at the end of our events, we often take a moment to just kind of take some deep breaths before we head out. So we'll do 3 and I'll get a start with the first one and then just take them as you can. Go ahead. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a blessed day and a blessed week. And please do reach out if there's anything we can do to assist you. Again, thank you everyone from Senior Games.
Thanks so much, Krista, for having us, and thanks everyone for your participation.